So yesterday was April Fool's Day, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucked for Fortnite. You know, Fortnite's always going above and beyond, but I feel like a part of them just kind of expected that to be like, you know, everybody, oh my god, it's gonna happen April 1st. You know, April 1st, April Fool's, that's when it's gonna happen. I really felt like it wasn't gonna happen April 1st because if they're gonna land a meteor in Tilted Towers and then call it an April Fool's joke, and then the next day Tilted Towers is there again, that would have been kind of dumb. If they're gonna do something, make it into an event, it's gonna affect the map forever. So I always thought, and I lean towards the side that thought that it wasn't gonna happen April 1st, and I'm kind of happy that it didn't happen April 1st because I kind of want Tilted Towers to be gone for a little bit, or period, I don't know. No! I guess you guys can let me know in the comments how you feel about that, but I feel like Tilted Towers again kind of hinders the gameplay and the experience of the game slightly. There's times I go way too long without finding anyone. Everybody just goes to Tilted, and again, I'm sure they have realized that. But we're gonna get into this video into so much information about what's happening, perhaps actually an exact date as to when you can expect this. Now, there's a lot of speculations and a lot of theories, and they all basically just add up to one big, huge fucking ball of conspiracy that makes absolute perfect sense. So it all starts obviously with the Morse codes. The Morse codes have been already kind of talked about for like 2-3 days. I didn't really make a video on it because I didn't think there was too much evidence, but there actually was. There's a lot of evidence. The Morse codes actually has a date and what's happening with Tilted Towers. But before we get into that, we got to go a little bit back because Fortnite and this map of Fortnite and Tilted Towers, everything just gets deeper than what we thought. You know, we thought this was just a battle royale game, but this battle royale game has such a deep story and history behind it, or at least for the creator of Epic Games, that it's really cool to know about. If you really enjoy this game, this is cool information to know about. You know, it's like playing Call of Duty or playing Rainbow, and you know the history about your players, about the history of the campaign. It gives you that much more when you play the game. So, the creator of Epic Games, his name is Tim Sweeney, and back in 1991, he made a game called ZZT. It says right here that there was an odd scene where the city gets hit by a comet or a meteor, and it basically has no context, so you really, like, there was no point to it, but nobody really made a big deal out of it because there was, you know, the internet was nowhere near as huge as it is today, so there was no theories, no speculations, no forums. Like, it just happened and nobody really gave a shit, right? Like, in other words, just for reference, so you guys have an idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to share a screenshot here with you guys about the actual game, and this is actually a screenshot of ZZT when the meteor hit the city. Now, obviously, at this time, they weren't planning about Tilted Towers or anything, so it's just the game with a city that got hit by a meteor. Now, it says here that Tim Sweeney, after he created Epic Games, he merged himself with a Polish company, and they multiplied their revenue, etc., all that crazy success story. Now, although there was a lot of success when these two companies merged later on throughout the years, I guess they just parted ways, but that's the reason why people believe that Fortnite or the map of Fortnite is actually Poland. It's not exactly a mirror, but it's got its little touches here and there, but it is meant to be a representation or kind of like a symbolizing Poland, maybe for his appreciation or something. Not quite sure, but that's why people believe that this map in Fortnite represents Poland or looks just like Poland. It actually says right here, for those of you that think this is probably a conspiracy, kind of like I thought in the beginning, but this part of it being Poland is actual evidence. It says in this article, the towns line up perfectly. So like if you put the map on top of the other, there's like this huge mall right here. It says the Warsaw is well known as the biggest shopping center in Middle Europe. If you transpose the Fortnite map over the Poland map, Retail Row lines up perfectly where that mall where Warsaw is. So it's basically just saying this is Poland. It's a duplication of Poland, but put into a video game. It actually gets so crazy that it says right here, in northern Poland there's a ghost town. The inhabitants left during World War II, and the area is turned into a graveyard. For the many people who's died there during the war, take a guess where this area lines up, and it's almost perfectly when you transpose the maps. It's in Haunted Hills, which is really crazy. That's trippy. Just so we know that there is a really big kind of attached history between Fortnite map and Poland. So therefore, this actually makes the evidence more concrete that this is probably, or it is going to happen later this month. Now, although we've covered this part of the information, there's actually additional information that kind of proves the evidence here, and I want to share with you guys this really quickly, but it's really interesting. Here's where it gets crazier. The head of the Polish sector of the company Epic Games was from a town in Poland called Porzan, a town in which an asteroid hit its most densely populated city and which in the game's case is Tilted Towers. It is called the Morosco Meteorite Reserve. However, my friend believes that there is a possibility it will hit the borders of Tilted like the one in Pozan, if not entirely wipe out Tilted to change up the game and its meta. So basically what this is saying here is that Tilted is possibly going to get hit slightly or completely. Okay, wiped out, made into a crater. I think the crater should happen. I think they should make this into a crater, probably add some loot there, some chests here and there. And it'll be really sweet as a player if you've been playing for a while now and you were playing before Tilted went away, which if you are watching this video you have. It'll be a cool history piece for you to see that crater there and say, damn, there was once, you know, a city here called Tilted and it used to be really, really crazy. I feel like the creators of this game put Tilted with the intentions of it being gone in the first place. If they're going by the history of Poland and all that, they implemented Tilted with the intent of it being wiped out afterwards, for sure, 100%. It'll be cool because they can add some loot there, add some chests, and even what's cooler is that this being a crater now forces players to go elsewhere around the entire map. That's why Blitz was really good and there was always people in a lot of portions of the map, because it always, not always, but a lot of the times it forced people to leave Tilted really quickly, if not definitely, depending on where the storm was headed. So I think it's really going to help out the game, and it's also going to add a cool element of history to it. That's just my opinion. Now, this is where it starts getting really, really cool. Although many people expect this catastrophic event to occur on April 1st, mind you, this was actually written before April 1st, so they already knew it wasn't going to happen on April 1st. It is equally likely that Epic Games aligned their in-game meteor shower with the Lyrids meteor shower, in which occurs every year between April 16th and the 25th. This would mean that the Morse code is referring to Tilted Towers getting destroyed on April 18th, 418. Now, a lot of people thought it was going to be 418, April 1st of 2018, but it appears like it's April 18th. Now, they did provide a link here, which is about the April Lyrids, and it's basically just showing when these showers of a meteor and the lighting and the radiation and all that happens. And if you look at the years and the times, it's all between April 16th to the 25th. It's really fascinating stuff. Like, this goes beyond fucking video games. This is extremely scientifically fucking proven shit. Now, I'm gonna end this video with basically talking to you guys about the Morse codes and how this actually adds up, and to why your controllers might be vibrating, and where this is coming from, and what's the whole purpose behind this, and the exact dates. I guess you can consider this kind of like the closure here. So there's a huge Reddit article that was going around. It was this individual that was basically trying to translate the controller vibration patterns into what they were trying to say to us, and I don't know how he did it, but I guess he knows something about Morse codes that not the average human knows. So he basically added everything up, and the patterns are here on screen. I'm going to share them with you guys. And it says here, it intrigued me as to why there was 3 different vibration patterns. It turns out that there's actually a logical reason as to why there is and what triggers this pattern. The first pattern is what occurs when it's daytime in the game. The second pattern is what occurs when it's nighttime. The third pattern is what occurs when you're in the storm. The last and final fourth pattern is when you're gliding down the map. Together, the patterns make up the following. So this right here is what the patterns make up. When this is translated into Morse code, it translates into the following: SOS D5 418. So basically, so what does it mean? SOS is a commonly used distress signal in Morse codes, which translates to save our souls. It's kind of like calling for help, basically. And then D5 is basically when you open up the map on Fortnite. D5 is actually in the grid. You know, you have north, south, and then you have all those numbers on the top, and then on the left, D5 lands on the little square that is right on Tilted Towers. And lastly, the 14 meaning the date. Now, he actually made this before April 1st, at least this portion. So he thought it was going to be April 1st of 2018, but 418, most likely it's looking a little bit more like concrete. That's actually going to be April 18th of this month, simply because, again, the lyrids and then the datings of the sightings of the meteor showers that we just talked about, which all happened between the 16th and the 25th. And it's going to be the 18th. So I would say if it doesn't happen on the 18th, it's probably going to happen towards the end of the battle pass. Those are the 2 time frames that I'm going for. I thought it was going to be kind of towards the end of the battle pass, because that's kind of like when you go into your battle pass, when you see the meteor showers and then you see the extinction. But then again, the meteor shower, the emoticon of the meteor shower slightly before the dinosaur extinction emblem. So it actually could be the 18th. And then possibly after the 18th, who knows, maybe we could see some like alien type skins or something like that. But that is exactly what's happening here. That is basically the history of how this is all happening behind the meteor, behind the comets in Fortnite. Let me know in the comments, how crazy do you think this is? Like, how much detail do you have to think about to put all of this into a game and just plan this for so long? Because I feel, again, like Tilted Towers has been planned even before it was in the game, and they already planned the conclusion of Tilted Towers to kind of resemble what happened in Poland. I think it's amazing. If you guys think this is super cool, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave me a like. Those are really appreciated. I work really hard on my videos for you guys to enjoy them, and I hope you are. Thank you for being a part of this channel. Let me know in the comments your thoughts and opinions. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.